Is there less competition for the Ivy Leagues?
Well, this year you saw Harvard's admittance rate drop slightly, 5.8% last year, 5.9% this year, and that was mostly due to the fact that Harvard had a decrease in applications by about 2%. But it's still pretty tough to get into any of those schools.
So you getting any bang for your buck? Is an Ivy League school education still worth it?
Chances are if you go to one of those schools and you qualify for financial aid, you're certainly not paying the sticker price by any means. They have among the most generous financial aid packages out there. And I think a lot of parents would still cut off their left arm to send their kid to Harvard.
Well, Princeton, it's offering a great deal for students who get accepted. How does that loan work?
Yes. So Princeton has offered this amazing deal. It's called the Princeton Parent Loan. And for parents, they offer a deal of 1.2% interest rate, variable, and about 4.3% fixed rate, and no origination fees. And if you were to try to take a government parent loan, which is the government, the student loan for parents paying for their kids' college, the rate is significantly higher, and you're also going to be paying a 4.3% origination fee.
Wow. So
you ask, well, why is there such a difference? Well, Princeton, they underwrite their loans. You're actually going to be filling out a loan application, and for the PLUS loan, it's not underwritten. There's a credit check, but you're going to be paying a higher rate because you just don't have that same kind of underwriting capacity.
Well, why would a parent need to take a loan from Princeton?
Good question. Yes, their financial aid is incredibly generous, but not everybody's going to qualify for it. So say you were still required for your family contribution to pay $20,000 for a year, even though the total cost is going to be around $60,000. It's hard for families to be able to write that kind of check.
Sure.
So it gives you a little bit of liquidity, and Princeton says we do it because we can. And they, yes, amazing. And they use their credit worthiness. They do have an endowment of $18.2 billion, and they're able to secure very good rates for their families. And again, they don't have any fees.
Who's making use of the loans?
It's actually not a huge percent of the student body population. It's about 10% of the families. And they're borrowing, for those who do qualify for financial aid, about $19,000.
So some arbitrage going on here?
Well, for those who do not qualify for financial aid, it's about $36,000. So on average per year. So if there were some arbitrage going on, you'd probably see that number a lot higher, and you would see much greater participation in the program.
Other universities, why aren't they doing the same thing?
It's a very good question. Certainly schools have bigger endowments. Princeton is the 5th largest endowment. That means there are 4 other school systems that have larger endowments. It's a very good question. Even if you don't qualify for any aid, it's still hard to write that check.
Janet, you were talking about Harvard. You look at the screen and see that number. The subtotal of billed cost is $58,607. That's why you and I are sitting here talking right now, isn't it? That's an enormous amount of money.
Yes, it is. Now, Harvard does have a very generous financial aid program. If you make under $65,000, you're not paying anything. But it is a good question why other schools don't offer this, because if you're a parent and you're struggling to pay for college, you either have the government PLUS loan, which is about, I think it's now 6.4%, or you used to take a home equity line of credit, and that just isn't as available anymore.
The home's not an ATM the way it used to be.